Hey everybody, how's it going? So this is your 6th health hack, and the subject today that we're going to talk about is 5 things to do when you can't see your doc. So I changed the title like 10 times. I was trying to think of like the greatest title possible so you guys would be like, oh my God, I have to see this health hack. But every health hack is that way, regardless of the title, because we're always bringing new and refreshing things that you can share with your family members, your friends, that you can like. Just throw it all over Facebook, guys. Email it out, because you never know what seed is really going to implant on somebody's brain and how that's really going to allow them to take action to change their life, okay? So I always tell my patients, it's not about somebody taking care. It's not about convincing someone. It's about sharing with someone. It's about sharing your heart. It's about sharing knowledge, because that's what we're designed to do. And that's, as human beings, right, is to share. And that's what we want to do here at Health From Within. Share knowledge so you can make different and better decisions about your health. Because true health is optimal function of all the organs, 100% of the time, all the time. So today's topic, 5 things to do when you can't see your doc. The reason why I was inspired to really have that conversation with you today is because we're going out of town for an amazing, heart-filled, awesome seminar called Dynamic Essentials in Atlanta, Georgia, and then we're going to see my parents. So we're going to be gone from Thursday to Tuesday. So my current patients and anybody else out there that needs healing, I wanted to give you tips on stuff you could do when your holistic doctor's away, okay? Obviously, what we do in this office with the adjustment, the brain and spinal cord communication, and those signals really getting sent out to every organ in your body, that's the most important thing that you can do for your body and for your health. But there's other things, you know, when we're away, we can't get our amazing Dr. Williams or Dr. Tanya Williams to adjust us and clear our nervous system. So what we have to be able to do is say, okay, what can I do on my own? What can I do to empower myself? So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is bring your traction device with you. Okay? Now you're probably thinking, you're like, what is traction? I don't even know what that is, doc. I'm not one of your patients. So if that's the case, because I know soon you're going to become one of my patients, one of the things that we want to do is get one of these awesome traction units, okay? Let me kind of see it, show it from different angles here. And if you're all confused, you're like, what the heck is this thing he's holding up? Let me show you here, okay? Now, the way this works is this just fits into your suitcase. Fits real easily into your suitcase. You can see this is really small. And I don't think TSA will give you a strange look. I mean, they might. I mean, it's not like you're putting bombs in your underwear or anything like that. Okay, this is just a traction unit. And all you have to do, if they do give you a hard time, is just say, hey, this is a little unit. It works for my cervical exercises. I'm not trying to like hang myself or anything. They might think you're like have a noose or something in there. It's not what it is. It's just to correct my spine and help my nervous system, okay? So if you're in my office, you know that this attaches in your door. You can see I have a little carabiner clip on that. Okay, normally when you have the unit at home, there's a little weight that goes in the door. And it's always funny because sometimes patients will be like, well, doc, I don't have a door. And I'm like, really? Okay, so unless you're on a reservation somewhere, you have a door, okay, or you're in a tent. I know you definitely have a door. And even if there's not a door in the place you're at, you can still use the front door and put the deadbolt on. Just make sure on the opposite side you put a note. Because if a loved one comes in with a key or a car key, if you're in a hotel and they open the door, bad news bears, okay? Because it's going to be suspended in with a weight, and the door shutting the traction unit is what holds it in place to be able to resist you. And basically how it works is this back part just goes over your neck like so, and this part goes under your chin. And I'm not going to do a full demonstration today, but this is just a rough idea of what you would need to maintain spinal health when you're away, okay? There's 4 different steps to that, okay? So if you're in my office, you know you're going to start with warm-ups. After you do your warm-ups with your traction, you're going to do your traction itself. And the way we do it in our office is we do 90 in the morning, 90 in the evening, for a total of 180 per day. But every time you're doing the 4 full steps, you're always going to do the warm-ups. And that's 10 yeses like this, 10 no's like this, and 10 maybes like this. And it's not forcing anything, guys. It's just a real nice loose warm-up, okay? Then you do the traction itself, all right? Then you do some posterior strengthening exercises in your head hangs, which you do what we call a beaker, right? One of my friends and patients here, Gunnery Sergeant Dave Smith, he calls these beakers because it's like beakers from the Muppets, right? So you do 10 seconds for 5 of those, and then 10 seconds of these, right? And you do 5 of those. And then you ice, okay? You ice for about 2 minutes, okay? So that covers the traction portion of it. The second thing that I'm going to recommend that you do on your own is something called emergency NET. I call it emergency NET because when you can't do regular NET and you're not in the office, okay, this is something that you can do on your own. And as you know, NET, or Neuro Emotional Technique, was designed by Dr. Scott Walker. Brilliant man. He's got his headquarters in Vista, just a beautiful, beautiful spirit. I've had the pleasure of meeting him way back when. My wife has had several interactions with him, and just a really, really loving and amazing guy. So Neuro Emotional Technique, like we do in the office, right, involves kinesiological muscle testing and acupressure. Very, very effective, amazing technique to get out subconscious stress and those neural patterns of stress that we have in our subconscious mind. But what you can do on your own is, and I'm going to go ahead and show you in the camera here, right? Take your hand like this and take your other hand, and you're going to wrap one hand around the other. So let me try to do this so you can see here, right? See how ambidextrous I am. I'm going to take my bracelet off real quick. What you're going to do is just wrap your fingertips around the inside of your arm. So if your arm was like this, your fingertips are just going to go close to your thumb, and then your thumb, your other thumb, wraps around. So like my right hand is going to be then placed on my forehead like so, okay? And if you're freaking out, why is this guy like holding his hand and then putting his other hand on his forehead? I'm not a weirdo. Well, my wife would disagree with that. I am a weirdo. But what you're doing, these are just acupressure points, okay? And I can't remember off the top of my head all of them, but there's 4 right here on the inner border of your hand. This would be the radial side, if you know anything about anatomy, or the thumb side. And then the thumb is just going to come around, like you would grip a motorcycle or a bicycle or something like that, okay? And then the other hand just goes on your forehead like this. You bend over, not quite in the fetal position, but just bending forward at the waist, and then you breathe in and out. So you're just going to inhale and exhale, holding those points, and think about whatever's stressing you until it dissipates. So inhale and exhale, and think about whatever's stressing you. So if you're away, right, it could be your in-laws, but I have the most fabulous in-laws in the entire world. I love my sister-in-law. I love my mother-in-law. I'm not kissing you guys' butts. You guys know I love you, right? But if you don't so much like your in-laws like I do, like I absolutely love my in-laws, love going to New York, right? Then this is a way of escaping. And family can just be stressful sometimes. We all know that, right? So if you're getting stressed out by your family and they're creating stinking thinking, right? Then this would be a good time for you to just say, hey, you know what? I need to go watch TV for a little while. And then you walk into their room and you start doing your emergency NET. And they're going to walk in. They're inevitably going to walk in and be like, what the heck is he or she doing? I'm like, what are you doing with your hands? And then that's the opportunity for you to plant a seed and teach them, right? So the third thing we're going to talk about when you go away, like my wife and I are taking a plane to Atlanta with little Cordy, right? So it's going to be exciting. Who knows how he's going to react? It's going to be awesome, although he is a world traveler. He's been on like 5 trips so far. Every time we get in the air, though, what we do is we make sure that we get adjusted, of course, before we go, because that's the most important thing, like really compressing your appointments. Like what I'll have my patients do is, even if they're every other day, I might have them, if they're 3 times a week for their particular care plan that they're on, I might have them come Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that's not bad. It's not bad to do that because the frequency of the care is needed to get that curve restored. And you know, one of the techniques that we do in my office is curve correction. Okay? So really getting that curve right is going to be the most important thing that I do, even beyond the traction or the NET I talked about. Getting that curve right is the fundamental #1 thing that we're going to do and that you need to do to save your life and prevent dysfunction and disease. But beyond that, we're going to do all these other things, especially if we're going out of town. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was supplementation when I go away. So when I go away, one of my good friends, Ted Hahn And then another good friend of mine, Chris Lippe from Standard Process, amazing functional nutritionist, a huge resource that I use. I mean, these are the guys in my corner. Part of my wellness group is what I call them, because they're just the minds of people that I have out there to refer to when I need a second opinion on anything. Amazing, amazing guys, wealth of knowledge from Standard Process. And what they told me a long time ago, and what I recommend to patients now, is when you get on an airplane, about every hour, every 2 hours, you want to be taking a product called Congaplex. You want to do two Congaplex every hour, one andrographis every hour, okay? And then 2 calcium lactates. So that's 2 Congaplex, 1 andrographis, all right, and 2 calcium lactates, all right? Generally, you can't really, in a 24-hour period, can't really go over, you know, you can't OD on Congaplex. I mean, it's food from God. It's food from the earth. This is organic-based supplements. We're not talking synthetic stuff here. This is the Maserati of supplementation is basically what it is. So after like 21 a day, I'd say you're probably good when you reach that point of the Congaplex. Probably 15 on the andrographis. And, you know, I wouldn't say to go, you know, don't go over like 15 on the calcium lactate. It's not like you could OD on that, but that's generally what we recommend for protocols like that. The next thing I'm going to recommend is make sure you're drinking extra water, especially if you're on that long plane flight or plane flight of any sort. You're going to get dehydrated. So water and hydration is really important, especially when you're out of town and if you're in a small town and, you know, the food's kind of cruddy and nasty and all that. Don't drink tap water, right? We don't want that chlorine. You know, we don't want those toxic chemicals, other people's antibiotics that went into the urine stream and then went through the filtration process and hormones, and now we're putting it in our body. We don't want that at all. And then 49 breaths. Okay, so I mentioned NET, but 49 breaths is another good thing you can do. You need to look back at one of my other health hacks. If you don't know what that is, I believe that's health hack number 1 or health hack number 2. So just refer to that. And there's going to be one more product that I'm going to recommend. It's a homeopathy with Neuro Emotional Technique. NET sells it, and it's called ER911. That's a great product for your adrenals and generally for your stress. So that's really going to help supplement when you're away, getting you back on your feet. So I'm really excited for you. I hope you got something out of today's health hack, and let's make sure to share and like this on Facebook. At Health From Within CA is going to be where we want to go. And again, we're always getting people checked. We're always getting them corrected. So if you know you have anything going on physically, chemically, and emotionally, and even if you don't, let's get you in here to get you checked so you can just have that peace of mind of knowing that your body's working at 100% of the God-given potential that you were designed to work from, okay? Not 20, not 30, not 40%, but 100%. So I'm going to offer you that $700 preloaded gift card, cover your exam, consultation, and your results. And all you're going to do, you're just going to come in, pay a $40 administrative fee, and we're going to get you on the road to health, okay? So call my office now, 760-385-8352, 760-385-8352, and have a blessed and awesome week. Thank you.